Overload.
Hey there guys, and welcome to the FIFA 14 show. It is Aaron here, and of course this is the series where I talk to you about the latest developments that have occurred concerning FIFA 14. Now, obviously, as you might remember, last week there was an absolute shed loads of news concerning Ultimate Team, so it's only natural that this week there is pretty much no news at all. There are still some interesting things that I want to talk to you about. So the first thing is the cover stars. It's quite refreshing to see EA looking at newer, fresher faces. And the first thing is, the Italian cover is going to be Lionel Messi and Steven El Shaarawy. Is it Steven El Shaarawy. No, Steven? I don't know, whatever. Well, El Shaarawy is on the cover, the AC Milan youngster. And it is quite refreshing to see new young players. Of course, we've already seen Gareth Bale on the UK cover. Arturo Vidal is on the Central American and South American cover for EA, and Javier Hernandez is on the North American one. So all very young players, even though Arturo Vidal is probably the oldest of the lot, but he is still pretty young. I think he's in his mid-20s or something. So it's nice and refreshing to see there. Refreshing not to constantly see Wayne Rooney on the UK cover. I know I probably said that already in the last one, but it was getting a bit old seeing him and Lionel Messi constantly on it. It's still, obviously, it's nice to see Lionel Messi. He is probably the best player in the world, closely followed by Cristiano Ronaldo. But yeah, and other cover stars have been announced this week as well. The Bayern Munich forward Xherdan Shaqiri, who is Swiss, he's on the Swiss cover, as you would sort of expect. He looks a tiny bit scary on the cover, but we'll gloss over that. And then on the Czech cover, we have Michal Kadlec, and on the Hungarian cover, we've got Balázs Dusudšák. So a lot of the main players in their respective country. Now, I think Dusudšák still plays in Russia, but he's obviously still Hungarian and such like. So yeah, that's cool. That's the cover stars done. Now, the main thing that I wanted to talk to you in this video about is, according to Brett Phillips, who works for Video Gamer, he's gone down to Guildford, I think it is, to play EA's version of FIFA 14. And it's quite interesting because he's actually apparently very disappointed with the way that you play FIFA 14 and how it handles. Now, obviously, it's work in progress. It's still over 2 months. Is it? No, hang on. No, it's not. Yeah, it's under 2 months, sorry. Almost 2 months until FIFA comes out, and still a month until the demo comes out, so it is very much work in progress. But there are a lot of problems that that Brett Phillips highlighted, and the first one is that he was disappointed with the sprinting and first touches additions to the game. So obviously that was two of the main things that EA sort of tried to put across coming towards the new features that were released about 3 weeks ago, something like that. And he said it's too difficult for the attackers to score. So, if it stays the way it is, you're going to see a lot less goals. Goals are going to be limited. The defenders seem to have an unfair advantage. It's because the gameplay is too slow, so they've slowed down the gameplay, obviously, because it was very fast in FIFA 13. You can easily exploit the wings with your fast players. So they've tried to combat that by slowing down the play, but apparently they've done it in a way that takes away the fun, according to the man from Videogamer. Now, you have to consider every touch, and now in theory this is quite a good idea because, in real life, players do have to consider every touch, but it gets a little bit stupid, apparently. It actually takes away the fun, and it renders skillful players unable to perform basic skills and touches. So, for example, you've got Iniesta or Messi taking the first touch for Barcelona. Now, not only do they want to get the ball under control, but they want to try it in direct the ball, that's what I was trying to say. They want to try and direct the ball into the direction that they are intending to run. Now, this is obviously a very basic skill for a good player to have, but apparently when playing and when taking the touch, they would take the touch and then take steps in the opposite direction, as if they wanted to go one way, but the ball just decided, actually, no, I'm going to go this way, thank you very much. And it made it easy for the defenders to come in and make a challenge. Now, this obviously slows down the build-up play and the attack. Not only does it give a defender an extremely good chance to take the ball away from the attacker, but if he doesn't get in a challenge, then your counter-attack's gone, based on the fact that your player's trying to run the opposite way to where he should be, instead of taking a touch in full flow. Now, another thing is when a player is through on goal, he won't be able to take the ball in his stride. Now, obviously, this is a fundamental skill that a quick attacker has to have. He needs to be able to take the ball in full flow and attack the keeper and try and slot it past him. But apparently they were unable to take the ball in their stride, and they didn't have much strength and lost the ball easily, and this is obviously unfair on the attacking team, makes it a lot easier for the defenders. It's almost as if the AI intelligence appears to be lower in this sense, and obviously goals will be lacking if your attackers can never take the ball in their stride when through on goal. That really limits your chances of scoring to headers and tap-ins, really. So that's clearly annoying. And also, the second thing is obviously the sprinting, and the man from Videogamer reported that the touches are terrible. So if you were sprinting, your guy would take a touch 15 yards ahead, and it would either go out for a throw-in, or the defender would just, be easily able to cover, take the ball away, and start his own attack, which would of course probably fail based on these facts so far. But there is another option. You can be slow but with a lot of control, but there is nothing in between. So you can either be slow and keep hold of the ball, which obviously means you can't set up quick counter-attacks, or be fast and, well, be a 99% chance of losing the ball. Now, obviously, when you see Neymar and Bale and Walcott and all the quick players, and Yabiani, if you've ever seen him play, they can take the ball in their stride. Not only do they have pace, but they can keep the ball with them. It's not like they have to knock it 15 yards and sprint after it. They can keep the ball close to them, so the defender can't take the ball away. So this is kind of very unrealistic, really. And EA are obviously priding themselves on realism this year, and it's they're taking away the realism completely. If you go past the player, their next touch allows the defender to cover. So if you go past the player, I don't know, with a step over, and then obviously what you do is knock the ball past the defender after you've done the step over, strip them obviously. That touch where you knock the ball after the step over will be horrendous, and another defender will just be able to cleanly come over and cover the ball, which is not what you want, and that will really dent Skiller's chances of scoring an amazing goal. And basically what the man from Videogamer said is it's extremely frustrating given the other additions that EA have brought into the game. They make it a lot more realistic, but these two things really take it away and make it an extremely frustrating and disappointing game to play. Now, obviously, I want to stress the fact that the game is still in working progress. It's not like this is the full shebang that's going to be released at the end of September, but it's not good signs, really. And, yeah, it's annoying, obviously, because sometimes players do miscontrol the ball when they're playing, but it's not all the time. And even on FIFA 13, we saw too much of the time a player would just miscontrol the ball out for throwing. It's like, what are you doing? That was an easy pass. Just because you're sprinting doesn't mean you'll go 10 yards ahead. And if it's even more extreme, sorry, in FIFA 14, then that is really not a good sign. But anyway, it's been a bit of a negative FIFA 14 show, hasn't it, really? But anyway, yeah, a little bit disappointing there, but hopefully they'll improve that. It's obviously in the early stages. Not even the demo is, the demo is not even close to coming out. So, but anyway, thank you all for watching. I've sincerely enjoyed ranting at you. It was kind of a rant, yeah. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you've enjoyed. Do all of that awesome stuff. And thank you all for watching. Goodbye.